Hey guys, it's Windy from Windys.Art. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to paint this coffee in watercolor. I'll talk about how I layer the color and how I paint the white object, and walk you through step by step how I complete this painting. Now if you're ready, grab your pens and paper and let's start painting. As always, I start with my sketch. I draw out the basic shape, so the shape of the coffee bean doesn't have to be perfect, just mark out roughly where they are. Before painting, I mix colors in advance so they are ready to use while coloring. Cause the saucer and the cup are both white, so I add darker background to offset the white. I'm using the wet on wet techniques here for the background, which means I apply clean water first, then quickly add colors while the paper is still wet. And this is also why I mix the colors in advance, otherwise the paper might dry out after you finish mixing colors. You can see that because the paper is still wet, the color blend out nicely. And I like to paint out each small section by small section, so I don't need to worry about the paper drying out. Then continue the same painting process until you finish the background. While waiting for the background to dry, I apply masking fluid for the reflections on the coffee. I like using a rolling pen to apply masking fluid. I think it's much easier to clean. If you don't know what masking fluid is, I've explained it in another video. Check it out if you're interested. Now the background is about dry, so I start adding base layer to the cinnamon sticks. Then quickly add darker shades around it, and this will create a natural blending color. I use dry brush techniques here to add some textures, so the cinnamon sticks looks more realistic. Next, I start painting the coffee. Make sure the masking fluid is completely dry before coloring. I first put a base layer on and add darker shades and connect it with the lighter shades, as you can see here. Cause the paper is still wet, the color will blend out naturally. Cause we applied the masking fluid before to preserve the white area, now we can just add colors freely. Then continue adding darker shades while the paper is still wet. It's quite important to make sure your brush doesn't contain too much water, otherwise the color you add on afterward would just totally blend out and create a stain after drying. For the cup, because it's all white, so I just add shadows around the right side and the bottom area so it pops out more. And make sure you don't put shadows that's too dark for the white cup. I like to use clean water to soften the hard edges for the shadows so it looks more natural. For the coffee beans around the button area, I first add a base layer, then quickly add darker shades to roughly mark out the bean shapes. It doesn't have to be perfect, we'll add the details later. After that, I add the darkest shades in between the beans so you can see each bean more clearly. Then I add details and textures on the beans. For the texture, it's the same technique as painting cinnamon sticks. I'm using the dry brush technique. Then I go back and remove the masking fluid on the coffee. I'm using a remover here. If you don't have it, just simply rub it up with your fingers. Now you can see the white areas seems to stand out too much. So I add some shadows around it and fix the white refractions to a smaller size as you can see here. This way it looks more natural. Lastly, I add shadows around the button areas of the saucer so it pops out more. Now the painting is about done here. Comment below and let me know if you have any questions. That's all for today's video. I really hope it's helpful and if you enjoyed it. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so you never miss out on my weekly art videos and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!